Welcome to our first episode of CIF Show. I am Fernanda, your host. In this show, you will learn about the role chemistry plays in different areas. These areas will be warfare, medicine, food, and global warming. Also, to celebrate this first episode, it will end with 3 possible solutions to solve the problem the melting of polar ice caps a threat to the weather of Mexico, plus a final reflection about the effects of chemistry in the modern world. To start off, I'm going to talk about chemistry and warfare. Some of the most lethal chemicals in warfare are the following: sarin, which is a man-made lethal toxin with no color, taste, or odor. Resin, which is also a highly potent toxin that can kill a person in amounts as small as a few grains of sand. Mustard gas, that is a chemical agent that causes several burning in skin, eyes, and respiratory tract. And last but not least, chlorine gas is another chemical agent with a history of use going back almost 100 years. During World War I, chlorine gas, sometimes known as Bertholite, was used by the German army during the Second Battle in Belgium. Now we will proceed to listen to what role chemistry plays in food with our guest Ricardo.
One of the main uses of chemistry is the addition of salt to food. This is to enhance the taste of it. Also, salt is regarded as a potent preservation in some quarters. It, a unique tool that is not only used to balance the taste of food, but to enhance the texture and appearance of food products. Other way that chemistry is used in food is to give birth to so many natural and artificial food preservatives that we use in our daily life. One example could be the lactic acid, that is an acid that regulates the pH in food levels to an unfavorable for growth of spoilage organisms such as putrefactive anaerobes. In food, we also have carbohydrates that are related with chemistry because of the compounds used. One example could be the sugar that is used in most of the products we consume in our daily life, like the cookies, potato chips, and many other junk food.
Now, Jared, what can you tell us about the influence of chemistry in medicine?
Well, as you might know, chemistry is important to medicine because it allows researchers to create new drugs that interact efficiently with the body, keeping it healed. As stated by the United States National Institute of General Medical Sciences, once a promising molecule has been identified, chemistry is necessary to verify that the correct version of that molecule is used. That means when that molecule is verified and defined, it can be used to create a new drug that to be the cure of some illness. As it was as example, we have the vaccines or the discovery of penicillin or ampicillin. But in my personal opinion, this is
Sandra will now tell us the relationship between global warming and chemistry.
Even though global warming is a natural phenomenon, chemistry plays an important role in it because some chemicals are contributing to the greenhouse effect. For example, CO2 is one of the main gases found in the atmosphere, and its source is the burning of fossil fuels such as gasoline and diesel. Chlorofluorocarbons are also chemicals that damage the atmosphere and the ozone layer. They are a substance that consists of chlorine, fluorine, and carbon and is used as a coolant for refrigerators, aerosols, and more. As a consequence, the heat from the sun has the opportunity to enter in a higher amount. Thomas Midgley Jr. was the first to synthesize the first chlorofluorocarbons in 1928. At first, it was thought that it was a good idea, but later on, scientists discovered the harm that it was causing in the atmosphere.
Chemistry in the modern world is revolutionizing the human life and changing the regular way that nature works. From finding substitutes for natural essentials to renovating ways to extend human life and at the same time giving us a hard time with pollutants, chemistry is surely carving its way to the deepest of the core of life.
Finally, Linda and Mariana, how can we solve the problem that the melting of polar ice caps a threat to the weather of Mexico?
One of the ways to stop the melting of the polar ice caps is to reduce soot. Soot from diesel engines, coal-fired power plants, and burning wood is a bigger cause of global warming than fuel litter and is the major cause of the upper melting of the Arctic sea ice. Stanford chemical experts say black and brown carbon in soot are an even more powerful contributor to global warming that industrial emissions of methane, which until now have been considered the second most important cause of climate change, and because soot absorbs sunlight as it falls on ice and snow and jetts back to Earth from clouds and layers of the atmosphere, it is a major reason for the rapidly melting sea ice in the Arctic region. Controlling the soot created by burning fossil fuels like oil and coal and from burning wood and dung may help to reduce Arctic ice loss and global warming faster. Another way to stop the melting of the global ice caps is recycling. The basic principle of recycling means using something again for which it was not originally purposed. For example, using a glass bottle as a base or making an outdoor candle holder out of used cans. Our first thought about recycling is separating our glass, plastic, paper, cans, tins from the rest of our waste and either having it collected by a recycling company or taking it to a drop-off center. This step, known as recovery, is just the first step in the recycling process and the part that we at home and at work can actively be involved. Recycling is a process of extending the lifespan of materials by converting waste into usable materials. It includes 1. Recovery, collecting or gathering waste material that can be reprocessed. 2. Separating and cleaning the material at a recycling center. 3. Processing it into a usable form, for example, recycled glass, cullet or pelletized plastic. 4. Using the reprocessed material instead of using rigid material, combined with other materials to manufacture new products. 5. Selling the new products. Daily life. You find chemistry in daily life in the foods you eat, the air you breathe, your soap, your emotions, and literally every object you can see or touch. The world without chemistry would be very different.
Another way to stop the melting of polar ice caps is to use the electricity resources more effectively. One way to do this is by unplug. When an appliance is plugged into a socket, even if you're not using it, it could be an iPhone, a TV, a radio, whatever device you want, but it is still connected to something, it's still draining energy that you are paying for. So whenever you are not using an appliance, you should unplug it, as easy as that. Another way is solar power. I'm sure most of you people have heard about this. And yes, this is a real amazing way to save the environment and also to have in a future a cheaper way to get energy. First of all, solar is a Latin word for sun. Solar power or active solar energy involves the conversion of sunlight, the sun's radiation, into thermal or electrical energy by using technology. Solar power resources can be a heat source or also an electrical source. In a near future, we could use solar power instead of fossil fuel in order to gain more electricity, and this will be a cheaper and also a safety way to get electricity without hurting the environment. Chemistry in modern lives. Chemistry is one of the most important sciences that had ever existed. Well, in my opinion, because thanks to chemistry, we have been able to achieve new goals, to achieve things that we couldn't even imagine in our past lives. So, like what? New improvements in medicine and technology, and also thanks to chemistry, when it is involved with other sciences, we have been able to discover things that we couldn't have imagined, that our ancestors would have think about it in our lives. So chemistry is one of the most important and wonderful sciences that I think mankind has ever discovered. Also, not because it is not just like the rules of this or rules of that, but it's to apply it, and it is a way to make our lives cheaper and easier.
So now we can say that chemistry is all around us, also that chemicals are everywhere. Chemistry in the modern world has helped us with plastics, artificial products, medicines, and also fertilizers.